No one saw it happen. That was the strangest part. Villages do not simply disappear. Not in daylight, not with witnesses, and yet by sunrise ours was empty. The night before had been ordinary. Ordinary in the way only tense times can still pretend to be. Dinner was quiet but shared. The bakery closed at its usual hour. Children were called indoors before dark. Dogs barked at distant engines, as they often did. Nothing unusual. Nothing that announced the end. I remember the moon. It was thin and pale, resting above the rooftops like a careful observer. We slept with our boots near the door. That had become routine. But we slept. Just before dawn I woke. Not to shouting, not to gunfire, to silence. A silence so complete it felt deliberate. No roosters, no carts creaking, no neighbor coughing through thin walls. Even the wind seemed to hesitate. I stepped outside. The air was cold and strangely still. A door across the street swung slowly on one hinge. Back and forth, back and forth. No one stood beside it. I called out, once, then louder. Only my own voice answered. I walked to the well in the center of the square. The bucket lay on its side, water slowly spreading into dirt. Footprints covered the ground, so many that they overlapped into confusion. Some small, some large, some deep as if pressed in urgency. But they all led outward, toward the main road. Every single one. House by house I checked. Beds unmade, tables set, bowls half filled, a pot still resting on a cold stove. In one house, a child's wooden toy lay abandoned beside the door, as if dropped mid-step. No signs of struggle. No broken windows. No blood. Just absent, total and complete. The church stood open. Candles burned down to wax puddles. The priest's book remained on the lectern, pages gently shifting in a faint draft. I stepped inside and whispered. The echo returned too quickly. The village had been small. I had 3 people. I knew every name, every face. The baker with flour always dusting his sleeves. The widow who fed stray cats. The blacksmith whose hammer could be heard at sunrise. Gone, all of them. I ran to the edge of town. The road stretched empty in both directions. No carts, no soldiers, no smoke in the distance. Nothing, only long lines of disturbed dust where many feet had passed. But where had they gone? And why without waking me? I followed the road, just a short distance, enough to see where footprints grew fainter, then disappeared into hard stone, as if the earth itself had swallowed them. Panic does not arrive all at once. It grows in layers. First confusion, then disbelief, then something heavier, something colder. I returned to the square. The bicycle that belonged to Tomas lay near the bakery, its wheel slowly spinning in the faint breeze, still moving, as if recently touched. I stopped it with my hand. The silence pressed harder now. Even birds avoided rooftops. By midday, sunlight revealed everything clearly. Too clearly. Laundry still hung on lines, white sheets moving gently. Shoes remained beside doorways. In the schoolhouse, chalk words still covered the board. A half-finished arithmetic lesson. Desk slightly askew. I sat in one, waited, listened. Hours passed. No one returned. As evening approached, fear changed shape. It was no longer about what had happened, but about what would happen next. If they had been taken, why not me? If they had fled, why leave one behind? Night came reluctantly. I lit a single candle in my house. It felt wrong to allow darkness to claim everything. Through the window, I could see the entire square. Empty, still, like a painting. At some point, I slept in a chair. Boots on, candle burned low. When I woke, it was to distant thunder. Not from sky, from engines. My heart struck hard against my ribs. They came from the same road where the footprints had led. 3 trucks, dark, dust rising behind them. They slowed as they entered the village. Men stepped down, uniforms crisp, movements practiced. They looked around with mild curiosity. One laughed softly. Another kicked the fallen bicycle aside. I remained hidden behind my curtain, not daring to breathe loudly. They entered houses, quickly, efficiently, searching, finding nothing. One shouted something I could not hear clearly. Another responded with a shrug. They gathered in the square, spoke briefly, then without urgency returned to their trucks. Engines roared again, and they left, as if confirming something already known, as if checking off a list. When the dust settled, silence returned once more. But now it felt different. Not confused, not accidental, intentional. The village had not fled randomly. It had been empty, coordinated, removed. The question that remained was why I had been spared. Days passed. No one came back. Food began to spoil. Water in the well grew cloudy without regular drawing. Nature slowly began reclaiming edges of the road. Grass bending inward. By the 4th day, I understood something unbearable. The village had not disappeared overnight. It had been erased, carefully, systematically, without spectacle, without warning shots, without visible ruin, only absence. I searched one final time. Every house, every room. In the blacksmith's home, I found a note on the table. Blank, completely blank. Paper waiting for words that never came. I carried it with me, as proof that something had existed here, as proof that names had once filled this space. Eventually, I left. I could not remain alone inside 83 ghosts. As I walked down the main road, I turned back once. From a distance, the village looked peaceful, intact, even beautiful. No smoke, no flames, no rubble, only quiet rooftops beneath a wide sky. Anyone passing would think it untouched. But I knew better. A place can remain standing and still be gone. Years later, people would ask what happened. I would tell them the truth. Nothing exploded. No dramatic final stand. No warning bell. One night, people slept. By morning, they were gone. And sometimes that is more frightening than destruction. Because ruins can be sane. They demand remembrance. But absence asks nothing. It leaves no monument. No scar visible from afar. Just empty streets where laughter once traveled freely. The village that disappeared overnight did not leave rubble. It left silence. And silence, when it is deep enough, can feel louder than war itself.